Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well. Been a great example to us younger brothers in the truth. As well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, along with you brothers laboring all throughout the four winds of the earth in sincerity and in faith. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak, Ahtham, to you brothers. And the title of this lesson, through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi, is the gas prices are an indicator of the times to come. Alright, because with these prices spiking up, there are different crises that are popping up, as these prices go up. So it says from this article from Fox News, it says jet fuel spikes as airlines warn supplies could run dry within weeks. U.S. jet fuel prices jumped from $2.17 to $4.57 per gallon. Double. And see if this will play. I'm gonna try to get a screenshot from that. Alright, let's see if this will play. But it says here, oil and gas prices spike after the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran.
Everyone's always in such a damned hurry. You know what you can't hurry? Fine bourbon.
Armenia there for us. Steve, thank you. Dana. It's good to have Sandra here with me today. She understands the markets better than anyone. And they opened about an hour ago, and it's quite a ways down, $662 at the moment. And oil, and that this partly, as Sandra has explained, oil and gas prices are spiking in recent days, including today, as the conflict threatens shipping through the vital Strait of Hormuz. The waterway normally handles as much as a fourth of the world's seaborne oil trade, but traffic has plummeted since the attacks began, reportedly dropping by over 80% as of Monday. Bob McNally is founder and president of Rapidian Energy Group, a good friend of mine, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's just show everybody that gas prices going up today, $3.25. Yesterday was $3.19. A week ago, $2.98, and a month ago, $2.89. So not going in a direction that that any of us want. How do you see it playing out?
Hi, Dana. Well, I wish I had better news. You're right. Prices at the pump that you and I pay tend to follow what happens in the global crude oil market with a week or two lag. So even if things turn out well, I still think, unfortunately, those average pump prices are going to head up to around $3.40 a gallon. And that's if things go well. But as you mentioned in the open, if we don't see the Strait of Hormuz opening to commercial traffic, I'm afraid we're only at the beginning of the price increases, and they'll go much higher.
Okay, so Politico had this headline that caught my attention this morning. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, sounding the alarm on gas prices. It's looking under every rock for ideas on improving energy prices, especially gasoline. And then you had White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She said this at the White House briefing yesterday.
The president said if necessary and when appropriate, the U.S. Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. I think it speaks to why this action was so necessary, that ultimately the energy industry is going to benefit from the president's actions with respect to Iran, because Iran will no longer be controlling the Strait of Hormuz and restricting the free flow of energy, which, as you all know, controls 20% of the world's global oil supply.
Would the U.S. Navy escorting the ships make a big difference?
Not unless they can suppress those vast Iranian capabilities to make ships, to threaten ships, I should say. Iran has thousands of small missiles, fast attack boats, drones, even nasty little mines, Dana. So escorting would help, insurance would help, but the prerequisite, the fundamental requirement is we have to degrade Iran's ability to threaten those ships in the first place. That's number one.
Okay, I'm going to go back to a topic I learned many, many years ago, going back to my Hill days in the mid-'90s. That's just the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Right now, what are you hearing that might be blamed on President Trump and when it comes to the SPR?
Yeah, so there's a buzz starting up that they're going to blame, the Democrats might blame the president for not refilling the SPR, which, as you may know, is only at about 60% of its capacity. And that's a lot of chutzpah, Dana, because as we know, after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and despite not losing a drop of oil from Russia, so there was no emergency, no supply emergency, President Biden ordered a 180 million barrel drawdown. That, combined with congressional drawdowns, took us to about half the fill capacity of the SPR. You know, when you and I were coming in with President Bush, President Clinton in the 2000 election, he also irresponsibly sold the SPR for political reasons. President Biden did it in 2022 and 2023, deeply irresponsible. And then to blame Congress or the president for not refilling it, correcting the problem that they made fast enough, I think is misleading, to say the best. So as a result, we go in with this less equipped to deal with it.
One last question. It's on China. Reuters saying that China urges refiners to suspend fuel exports amid Mideast conflict. I'm going to put up a map here that shows China's daily imports via the Strait of Hormuz. Can you just tell us about Asia's appetite for this oil?
Yeah, most of that oil and gas, LNG, so important, goes to Asia. China imports 40% of its oil from Hormuz. The United States, 7%, and we can get it from other places. It's a disaster, not only for China, for Japan, for Korea, for India, other countries. So we're seeing hoarding like we've seen in the past. They're not allowing exports of refined products. They're going to be grabbing every barrel they can outside the Gulf because they're terrified. They're much more vulnerable than we are to a long-term supply interruption.
So, this is having, this is having negative impact on, all the other nations.
60% of
Slovakia. So let's get a couple of precepts and then read the rest of this article. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Right, so this is being made plain, all the things that are taking place, prophecy. Right, and we've taken the words that have been written down. The scriptures speak about, these words are written for our learning, roughly paraphrase them. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So we're seeing an up and down. Some days, they say the economy doing good, the next day is doing bad. It seems like sometimes they bullshitting, which they are, but they can, ultimately, it can only be like that for so long. Things are picking up quick. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Right? That's the so-called white man. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. And all we can do is lean on the Lord in these times. All right, because there's so much uncertainty. All right. Salakia. Habakkuk 2:5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, right? Going into this devil's philosophies. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right, so he everywhere. It says, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is his death, and cannot be satisfied. So, ultimately his greed, right? His greed, he cannot be satisfied, man. He's been sent to steal, kill, and destroy. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And all the eyes is on Esau, Edom, all the resources, everything, is given to him. Right? He has all the other nations in subjection. That's why it appears like the top nation on the earth, because he creates that illusion through his pride. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Yeah, you fucking thief. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Going into that debt. I believe the word is abadyat. Slakia, if I messed that up. But the thick clay, this nigga in debt. Here it is, he starting up wars, causing all these different issues. His system, his money system is based off of debt. It says, shall not, Slakia, Habakkuk 2:7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Yeah, so you pissing off all these other nations, right? You pissing these people off. You got them mad at you, angry at you, right? You got all these different people, you got all these different people angry and upset at you, And why is that? Because shit, you spoiling the nations. They looking at you crazy. Right, because the so-called white man, he ruling. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So you done spoiled the nations. You done killed. Right, multiple times, man. And it says, for the violence of the land. And how did you get this land? How are you able to keep it? Through violence. It says, and of all that dwell therein, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. Yeah, this nigga want everything. He jealous, and that's how you know there's something wrong with Esau Edom, man. He got everything, but he cannot be, satisfied. It says that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. So, you not getting away with that, right? He set himself up like he the top, he the top nation. He got these different surveillance programs. He got his media. And he think that he gonna be able to sail off into the sunset. Not happening. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, right? Namely the Israelites, right? Because forget these other nations, man. It says, it has sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. And that's why you have, starting off with elder apostles of Great Millstone out on the highways and byways, bringing out the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahshi. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, which is Esau Edom, establishes a city by iniquity. Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? And look at all these people and what they do on the daily. This shit in vain, because ultimately this plays through, right? So all these people with their 10-year plan, 20-year plan, right? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Yeah, so this knowledge, this truth has spread throughout the four winds of the earth. It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunk also, that thou mayest look at their nakedness. And that's Esau. Trying to get them, which Iran ain't really buying it, which of course, they were drunk by Esau Edom. Yeah, now they starting to get that hangover, right? Now they starting to realize, okay, this damn devil, he ain't gonna stop. Yeah, getting closer and closer to Iran. Now they right at the front door. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So now everybody looking at you like it's something wrong with you. The whole world is watching what's currently taking place. It says, for the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So this place was created with violence, and it's gonna go out violently as well. It says, what profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it? The molten image and a teacher of lies. All right, all the And, all these different philosophies, false idols. Right? It says that the maker of his work trusteth therein to make dumb idols. And idolatry is a big thing here. Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, and to the dumb stone, arise, right? Giving all the power and their effort, right, to these different false religions. Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, so on and so forth. It says, behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. Yeah, because there's only one true and living God, Yahawah, and his only begotten Son, Yahawahshi, right? But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Alright, so the Heavenly Father has his Son as a representative for the elect of the nation of Israel. That's why you got that lowercase HIM. It's speaking about our Lord. Malachi 4, point is in 2. I'm going to start at 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, yea, the missiles coming. It says, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, yes. So Esau, Edom, the heathen, and also 2/3 of Israel shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So Esau, Edom, after a certain amount of time, they ain't gonna exist. That's gonna be beautiful too. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. Yes, so the Lord is coming back for his elect, right? And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. Being perfect. And ye shall tread down the wicked. Yes, we gonna beat y'all's ass from sun up to sundown, and all damn day and all damn night, beating the shit out you damn devils. This is, and we gonna be in perfect bodies too, and